Happening today at the state capitol in Madison, local leaders and state lawmakers are meeting to discuss closing Green Bay Correctional Institution. The prison has faced many challenges over the years, and now some are calling for it to be shut down. And Kristen Allen live in Alloway this morning. Tell us about the meeting. Good morning.
Good morning. Green Bay Correctional Institution is an adult male maximum security prison, and it opened way back in 1898. It's one of the oldest in the state. Waupun Correctional Institution is the oldest in the state, and it's faced many issues over the years, from families, from calling on it to be closed, and from issues happening inside of the prison. And so that's why that meeting is happening later today. Alloway Village President Jim Rafter is one of those who has worked to try to get the facility shut down, and he released a statement to us saying, in part, quote, "We have garnered support from Republicans, Democrats, retired GBCI staff, formerly incarcerated, families of those incarcerated, social justice groups, law enforcement, neighboring municipalities, local businesses, and residents throughout Brown County. The authority to close GBCI rests in the hands of 133 people, state representatives, state senators, and the governor, and we decided to hold this session in the building they all work in." The Alloway Village president has been working for a while to get the facility closed after facing many issues, from staff shortages, conditions inside the prison, along with concerns and criticism from the families of those who are incarcerated there. Our Jason Zimmerman will be covering this story tonight, and we'll have a full report on what happens at that meeting. Reporting live in Alloway, Kristen Allen, Action 2 News.